Okay guys, I'm back for one more recipe here, and today we're doing something really simple, really quick. A lot of people love them. It's a great appetizer. We're doing mozzarella sticks today. Run over the ingredients super quick. I got some all-purpose flour. I got a couple of eggs here, which I'll scramble in just a second. I got some Italian breadcrumbs. I have some pepper, some oregano, a block of mozzarella cheese, fresh parsley, and salt. This is it. This is all you're going to need to do this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to salt my flour. I'm also going to put a little black pepper in my flour, and I'm just going to whisk this up a little bit. Now you don't have to, I say it in all my recipes, you don't really have to get crazy with a bunch of stuff here. This stuff is like super simple to make, and that's the way it is. I try to keep most of these recipes simple for you guys that are interested in making some of this. All I'm going to do now is I'm just going to scramble up a couple eggs. Okay, that's done. And I'm going to add some oregano to my breadcrumbs. That's probably about a tablespoon. And I'm going to add a little fresh parsley to it as well. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just going to give this a little mix. You mix this with your hands if you want to. Not really a big secret here as far as making mozzarella sticks. The only thing you have to remember is you do have to let these chill out a little bit and relax. So once I'm all done with this, I'm actually going to put this in a I don't know, like a baking sheet or some kind of container. These are going to go in the freezer for at least an hour. If you don't do that, it's going to, the cheese is going to melt all over the place when you fry these. You do need some cooking oil too. Either vegetable oil was what I would recommend. So I would fry these in vegetable oil. That's what I'm going to do. But you can use oil of your choice. Okay, so we got the majority of this done. And I'll be back in 1 second to continue this recipe. So we're going to the next step here. I have no idea how I forgot the Parmigiano Reggiano. This, I just put this right in. It's probably, I don't know, at least 3 tablespoons of Parmigiano Reggiano. And we mix this. That's it. Just mix this in really good. Okay, now we're done. So basically here was salt and pepper. I'm sorry, not on this one. This was no salt and pepper in this. It was fresh parsley. It was oregano and some Parmigiano Reggiano. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to get on to cutting our, let's see, I'm just debating what knife I should use. Okay, so we're going to cut this mozzarella up, and you want to get obviously sticks out of it. So you're going to cut them thick enough, which maybe, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch. So we're just going to cut down. We're going to do this through the whole block, and then we're going to cut the other way. This is really simple. This is 1 pound of mozzarella. Use whatever mozzarella you like to use. I would not recommend using fresh mozzarella, however, because that's too soft. So you want something with a little texture to it. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're just going to cut these into 3s. We're just going to go down. I don't know if you guys can, there you go. We're going to cut it like this. So there's 1, and we're going to cut it like this. And then we're just going to follow suit here. We're going to go pretty quick. This recipe doesn't take all that long. It's just basically one of those recipes where you have to let it sit in the freezer for, you know, an hour. I would say leave it in there for an hour, and then after an hour you'll probably be perfect to pull those out. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so I'm going to finish these up real quick, and I'm going to show you how I dredge it. We're going to put them on a plate, put them in the freezer, and then we'll show you how I fry them up, and we'll plate this recipe up. All right, we'll be right back with you guys. All right, so I have all my mozzarella sticks chopped up. This is about the thickness of them, so they make a good mozzarella stick. So all we're going to do is we're going to just dredge these in flour. Make sure you get the ends, shake off the ends of it. You're just going to coat it in. You're going to coat it in the egg mixture, and you're going to toss in the breadcrumbs. Super simple, right? Okay. And then we're just going to set these aside. So breadcrumb or flour, shake off the excess. Right. All right, so this is how you do this. All right, and make sure you get the ends and everything like that. Okay, and we're gonna do these. We're gonna actually do these all over again. Now I'm not gonna keep you guys with me the whole time here because you pretty much understand how to do this. It's flour, eggs, and breadcrumbs, and that's it. That's all you got to do. So we'll do one more here, and then I'm gonna cut the video, finish these up, and then I'll be back to show you what I do next. Okay, and you see when you coat these, you can see where they don't get totally coated, and that's the reason why we double dip these. Okay, so I'm gonna finish these up, and I'll be back with you guys to re-dip these again, and we'll be on with this recipe. It's not going to be too long. All right, so I'll be right back. So I'm back. I dredged these. These are the first set. This is what they kind of look like when you do the first dipping. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to dip these again. I took the flour out of here. I did add a little bit more breadcrumb over here, and I did mix up a couple of more eggs. So the first round to do these was 2 eggs. I put 3 in here and scrambled them just in case. So that's what we got going on here. So I'm going to do a few of these. We're gonna double dip these just like this. Make sure that you get them all nice and coated. Drain off the excess just like this, and then just toss them in your breadcrumbs. Now, the reason why you have to do this is because you don't want the cheese when you fry them to seep through, so this kind of gets like a nice little barrier on it, because you're only going to fry these for just a few minutes. So just make sure that they're all nice and dipped just like that. You could see the difference between the two once you double dip them. All right, so that's all we're doing. We're just double dipping these. I'll do a couple here, and then we'll cut the video, and I'll be back to press down on them a little bit too, get those breadcrumbs to really stick. And then after I get done with these go in the freezer for a little while. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. I'm gonna finish up the rest of these. One block did, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, did 18 mozzarella sticks. So 1 pound equals 18. All right, I'm going to be back in a couple of minutes here. I'm going to finish these up, and we're going to get these in the freezer. Done doing the rest of these. Excuse the mess. I usually don't work like this, but these are a little messy to make. So these are what they're going to look like when they're double breaded. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, and I'm going to put these in the freezer. I'm going to leave them there for a minimum of probably 1 hour, at least an hour. The longer the better. The colder you get these, the better when you fry them. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be back in a little over an hour to show you how I fry these up, and we'll plate them up, and it'll be a good appetizer if anybody chooses to make these. All right, we'll be back shortly. Okay, so I am back, and now I just took the mozzarella sticks out of the freezer. Oh, there we go. There's lose one out of the freezer, and we are ready to fry these up. Now, it's very, very important. It's very, very important that you have the oil at 350. Can't stand a mess. At 350. The reason for that is because if you drop these in when the oil is not at 350, what's going to happen? It's going to soak up the oil kind of in the cheese. So you want that hard hit to crisp the breading on these. Now, I did throw a thermometer in here, so I do know that it's 350, 360 degrees. And the other way you can tell, and I don't think you can pick it up on camera, is when the bottom of the oil starts to move around just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to drop these in. We're only going to fry these for just a couple of minutes, if that, like maybe a minute. So this is what we're going to do. We're only going to throw a couple in at a time because we don't want to overcrowd it. Remember, these are very cold. These are frozen. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to have these together as far as sticking together. So you actually want to try to move these around a little bit. They're going to go quick. They're going to go very quick. Like I said, 30 seconds, that's it. And then they're coming out. And I have a plate over here to drain them with a paper towel. And hopefully they don't bleed. And what I mean by bleeding is the cheese doesn't come out of them. So that's what we're hoping for. So they are going to become crispy, and they are going to become, I mean, I wouldn't say well done, but we're just going to let these fry off for a minute or so and see what we get. Sometimes it's a little hard. Sometimes you have to adjust your temperature as you go along until your heat balances itself out. So now it's starting to make a little bit of noise. So that's a pure indication that the cheese now is starting to release a little bit of the liquid. Now you can see how the cheese is starting to melt right there. So we're only going to give these just a couple more seconds, and then we're going to pull them. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep frying these. And there's, I think I said there's 18, 2, 3, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yeah, I got 18 out of 1 pound. So that's pretty good, see? All right, so I'm going to fry up the rest of these. I'm going to plate these up, and I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. So I almost got all these fried up. We're going to do the last batch right now. We're going to just drop them in once again. So I did back the heat off just a little bit because obviously it keeps, your oil will keep increasing in heat. It's hard to sometimes regulate your the heat on your oil. So I'm frying these just to be careful so I don't overcook them. If you like them a little bit more well done, great. You want that that dark crisp on your mozzarella sticks, then by all means raise the temperature up a little bit. If you don't like that and you like them a little bit on the blonde side, pretty much, you can just lower the temperature, let them cook for a little bit more, and these will let you know when they're done because they will bleed. Basically what I mean by that is you will definitely see you'll hear them. The cheese will start to leak just a little bit and the oil will start popping. That's why I came back to let you guys hear this so you know exactly what's going on with these. And then, excuse me, as soon as these are done, I'm going to bring these over. We're going to plate them, and we're going to have a black truffle hot sauce with these, which is absolutely phenomenal. But just hang with me for a couple more minutes. These will be done, and I just want to show you what stage excuse me, that I pull these. See, this is where they're at now, right? So they're very blonde still. They're actually, these are almost done. then sometimes you might have to play with the heat on these too. You know, sometimes you might have to boost them up a little bit. Sometimes you may have to lower the heat. It's so hard to keep oil at a precise temperature. At least it seems like that way to me. But as soon as these start making noise, we'll pull these. Let's see how they're really nice. And that black truffle hot sauce is going to set this right off. All right, so they're getting there. You're going to start hearing them soon make a little bit of noise, and that's what we're gonna do. As soon as that happens, we're going to pull them because they'll start leaking just a little bit out of the side. But you can destroy these too, and don't get all down if you happen to destroy a few. See, this is what I'm talking about. See how they're starting to bleed a little bit? So these are almost ready. See? If you get that, they're really, really close to being done. Okay? Just like that. See how on this side? So they're getting pretty soft now. You really got to keep your eye on them at this point. Okay, so I think that I'm going to pull these. So this is what they look like now. See, it's starting to pop on the other side. You really don't want that. So we're going to yank all these. And that is going to be the end of our mozzarella sticks. So that is the last batch. We're going to let these drain, and I'm going to bring these over, and we're going to plate them, and these are going to be delicious. So, okay, kill the heat, and we're going to go over and plate these right now for you guys. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back to plate these up. I just want to show you exactly what these look like on the inside. So, say this is what you could pull this for probably all the way across the countertop. So that one I get to eat. Okay, so let's plate some of these up, and I'll show you how I do this. Okay, we're going to do it like that. I think 5 to an order is pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to add just a little Parmigiano Reggiano on top of it, just like that. We're also just gonna, just for a little garnish, just like this. Okay, and really the star of the show is this black truffle oil, this black truffle hot sauce that I got. So this is all we're gonna do, is we're just gonna, just like that. And if you want a little bit more, you can just serve this right on the side. So this is how we do mozzarella sticks with black truffle hot sauce.